If you're watching this, you've probably started your all-in journey and trying to recover from extreme hunger. Maybe you're actually questioning whether going all in and recovering from extreme hunger is the way to go. You're clicking on all of the videos to try and figure out what the best route to go is in terms of healing your relationship with food, healing extreme hunger so that all of the food noise goes away, so that all of the cravings goes away, so that those compulsive urges to just eat on large amounts of foods just goes away. But the caveat is you are terrified of gaining weight. So you're trying to figure out what is the best way to do that without gaining lots of weight. Maybe you've started your all-in journey and you've got to a point where your weight has started to stabilize. Maybe you've gained some weight and right now you're at your peak in terms of where you feel comfortable with your weight gain journey. And now you're questioning, do I keep going down this trajectory because I've gained the weight, I'm now at a normal weight, gained some healthy weight, so this means that I should stop. I've been there myself and I've helped clients through this very process as well. I just want to also highlight that this journey is so unique and it can feel very isolating and very lonely sometimes because although it is very common, it also isn't very mainstream. When you're going through this journey, you really feel like you're alone and that you are doing something wrong. This is exactly how I felt when I was going through my own all-in journey, and I would question whether or not I'm doing the right thing because the chances are you're experiencing extreme hunger or questioning whether to go all in or not because you don't care about your weight. The problem is that you're going through extreme hunger because you've no doubtedly spent years of your life restricting and trying to micromanage your food. You have maybe obsessed over what the scale says or how much you weigh or what your body looks like for so long, literally going against that very need and desire to control your weight and to control your food feels so counterintuitive, and it feels very scary because it's like on the one hand you want to heal from extreme hunger, so you're eating more, then at the same time you're seeing your weight go up and it makes you question everything because you're like, what am I even doing? Because this is terrifying. This is literally everything that I don't want to happen right now. And that's what I want to address in this video, particularly if you are right now, you're feeling very alone in this and you're just doubting yourself and you're doubting the whole process. I've been there myself, and honestly, I wish I'd have seen or heard something very similar to this when I was doing my own all-in journey. And before I go into that, I just want to also just say that you are not wrong, you are not broken, you are not doing anything wrong. This is a normal part of the process, and I did a video on this talking about this, and I will link it below, talking about the messy middle in recovery because it feels very messy. It feels like you're not doing something right because it's not a straightforward process. It's not like a step-by-step where you just go all in and then suddenly you're healed and suddenly your weight is restored and you're happy and you can go and live your normal life. It is not as straightforward as that, and I wish it was, but it simply just doesn't work like that. And our bodies are so much more intelligent than what we give it credit for, and there are so many fluctuations that need to happen in terms of our hormones, our appetite, our hunger regulation, our relationship with food. These are all so much more nuanced, and it's not a step-by-step process. There's different transitions that we need to go through, and even with healing our relationship with food, there's also a process in healing our relationship with ourselves and our body and how our body looks, how our body feels, and releasing the identity. If we've always had our identity attached to a number on the scale, if our identity has been so tied up in what we look like for so many years, there will be a process of almost grieving that part of us and our identity. You are not doing anything wrong, you are not broken, you are just going through a process that you've probably never been through before, and you're doing something completely different to what you've always done. If you've always controlled your food, always restricted your food, always based your worth on what you look like, how much you weigh, and you're now putting all of your focus in your relationship with food, how you feel, feeling healthy around food and feeling balanced around food, that is a completely different journey to what you've always done. So of course it's going to feel weird. Of course it's going to feel scary because it is so unknown and so unfamiliar. So I just really want to just speak to that I know how scary it feels, and I know how confusing it feels and conflicting too. I promise you, you're not doing anything wrong. You, just like many others, have and do feel the exact same way, and that's what I want to talk to in this video. And if you are new around here, hi, my name is Hetty. I'm a personal trainer and women's food freedom, fitness and confidence coach. And I too have been on this very journey myself. I struggled for many years with my relationship with food. I had a very chaotic relationship with food, going on my first diet when I was about 7 years old. And throughout that time, my relationship with food was so turbulent. I had disordered eating habits. I would binge and overeat and then restrict. When I was experiencing extreme hunger, it felt so confusing because all I could think about was food. Literally, I've spoken about this before, but if you looked on my Instagram at the time, my whole search page was filled with food porn. It was just like photos of food. I just wanted to look at food all of the time. I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I thought for the longest time that maybe I was addicted to food, because I realized that how I was thinking about food and how I was feeling about food was not normal. So it wasn't until I went on my all-in journey that things started to become clear and it made sense as to why I was feeling this way. So I've also helped many other women go through the process of healing their relationship with food and going through extreme hunger, where they can get to a place where they feel calm, healthy, happy and balanced with food and also fitness as well. I really want to just break this down and make it super simple, super easy for you to digest. But I also just want to mention that I might touch on subjects such as weight gain, weight loss, calories and things like that. So if you feel like you're not quite ready for that, or at any point this video feels triggering, feel free to click out of this video. So let's say then that you've started your all-in journey and you've started working on your relationship with food. Maybe you've started eating more freely, stopped tracking calories, you're now eating a lot more free and intuitive, maybe you're feeling better and you started to see your weight go up, and maybe you're now at a point where you're like, right, okay, I've gained some weight and this feels uncomfortable, maybe that's where I should stop here. And I really just want to be open and honest here when I say this, that no one is the same. It's not a one size fits all when it comes to healing your relationship with food and going through extreme hunger. It is so individual because everyone's coming from different backgrounds, different past experiences with restriction and beliefs and dieting and all of the things. And also everybody's bodies is so different. But the problem is we are basing our recovery and how much we should push based on our weight. And no doubt you are in this situation right now experiencing extreme hunger, not because you don't care about your weight. You're in this most likely because you've spent years obsessing over what you look like, how much you eat, how much you weigh. So the problem is our focus is still so fixated on what our body looks. And this happens a lot. I was the exact same. I had an idea of what recovery should look like in terms of my weight. I would also compare myself to other people's bodies and think, when I look similar to that, or when I've got a similar weight to that, then that's when I should stop. That's when I should be healed. The problem is we are basing that on an appearance, and extreme hunger is not based on an appearance thing. It's not down to what your weight is. Extreme hunger is healing that internal battle and overthinking and confusion when it comes to food. If you are still thinking about food in the sense of overthinking, am I eating too much? Is this too much? How much is this? All of that is still going on and feels very noisy in your mind. Chances are you're not yet healed. You're not yet at a point where extreme hunger stops. When you reach a point where food kind of loses its novelty, food just kind of even becomes a little bit boring. I've had that feedback before from clients where they get to a point and they're like, food is like quite boring now. Like, yeah, sure, it's nice to go out for food with friends or whatever, but it's really not a big deal. And there's so many other, once you get to a point where you actually realize that life is so much bigger and there's so many other things going on in your life that matter more than what you're eating for lunch that day or what to go out to eat and thinking about what to order off a menu. When you get to a point where food just becomes kind of a bit mundane, a bit boring, a bit kind of like meh, that I would say is kind of when you're reaching the point of recovery, because that's how food should feel. When food just becomes very natural and intuitive, and the sense of like you eat when you're hungry and you stop when you've had enough, and you don't feel guilty about eating, you don't overthink what you're going to eat in the sense of like you're questioning what's the lowest calorie, what you eat in a way that you're drawn to certain foods at certain times. Like for instance, one day you might be more drawn to eating pasta, and pasta is really something that's like, yes, that's the perfect meal right now, that's all I want. And then another day it might be, oh my god, I really just crave soup right now, and soup is all I can think about, I just want soup. Just examples. But food should be easy, food should feel free flow, food should feel intuitive. It shouldn't be something that we have to think about in the sense of like micromanaging it with our mind. It's really just a feeling, and right now the feeling of extreme hunger, it feels chaotic, it feels confusing, it feels stressful, it feels anxiety ridden, and there's so much noise going on that it kind of masks what our body is trying to tell us, and we're trying to think over what our body is trying to communicate to us. And the reason why we're in extreme hunger in the first place is because we've been using our logical mind so much, we've been suppressing what our body is asking for, and we've been using our mind to try and think our way through a problem and use our mind to use logic over what our body is asking for. Our bodies are smarter than us. Like, our bodies know how to survive. Think about it like if you break a leg or if you fall over and you've got a scab on your arm, you don't have to tell your body to heal it. It will do it by itself. Yes, it will take some time depending on how severe the cut or the wound is, but your body does that on its own. You don't have to think, oh, okay, I need to try and heal this. Sure, you might need to clean it up and things like that, but your body knows exactly what it's doing. And this is the same with hunger. Your body knew what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat from the day that you was born. But the problem is we have been operating from our logical mind, been following all of these diets, all of these fad diets and people telling us what to eat and what we should look like, that we have been suppressing our body's own natural intelligence. So now the point of extreme hunger is our body then starts fighting back, and it does this by forcing us to think and obsess over food, and it does this to also essentially just make us overeat to the point where we feel physically full and sick, but also we are still thinking about food. And that is because our body still isn't yet at a point of balance. Right now, you're in this situation where you think healing from extreme hunger should look a certain way, and it should be the point of recovery and the point of success from healing from extreme hunger should look a certain way in terms of your weight and what you deem as acceptable with your weight. You are basing healing your relationship with food and healing from extreme hunger based on what you think a weight should look like. This is the hard part. Extreme hunger and healing your relationship with food and healing your body from extreme hunger does not work like that. Your body will let you know once you've healed by how you feel, because you will no longer be thinking about, am I healed yet? Is this okay? Am I eating too much? You won't have those thoughts. You will just be living your life and you'll be like, wow, I feel good. I've gone throughout my whole day and I've eaten whatever I wanted, stopped when I've had enough. My mind isn't even thinking about food. I'm doing my other things, I'm living my life. That's at the point of recovery. That does not come from number on the scale. It doesn't look like a certain body fat percentage. It doesn't also look like what somebody else looks like. And also not comparing what you eat during extreme hunger versus what somebody else eats. And especially online, and I know that there are so many what I eat in a days. I too film what I eat in a day videos because I personally enjoy filming them, but I also found that they were super helpful when I was going through my journey and recovering and seeing what a normal relationship with food looked like. However, please don't compare what other people are eating during their extreme hunger recovery versus what you're eating, because chances are, one, the internet can be so deceiving. Not everybody shows the full picture. And two, everybody is so individual. And your process, your amount of food is and should be so individual to what somebody else is doing. There is not a one size fits all. And yeah, we all need different needs. We all need a different amount of food. Should you stop once your weight is restored? If you're asking that question, and again, I want to be really mindful about how I say this because I know how hard and confusing it is, and this is why working with a coach can be so helpful, or just having accountability, having somebody in your corner that can guide you and support you throughout this process. If you're asking these kind of questions, should I stop here? That's a big telltale sign that you're not quite there yet. We have really, and this is part of the work of recovering and healing our relationship with food, part of that work is healing our relationship with our body and what we think we should look like in terms of a weight, a set weight. When I went through this process, I thought I wanted to be a certain weight and that's when I would be happy, but I realized that with me trying to achieve a certain weight, a certain number on the scale, in order for me to be that weight, it meant that I needed to suppress my hunger. It meant that I still needed to control my food. It meant that I still felt quite noisy in my mind. I was suppressing my own body's natural set point. Our bodies are so much more intelligent than what we give credit for. I'm also not saying that your final weight, when you do reach that point of recovery, that will stay where it is. It might go up and then it might come down again. You need to kind of address what our goal is. And if your goal is to heal your relationship with food and stop the extreme hunger, that is a separate goal and a completely different focus than if you want to stay at a certain weight. If you want to stay at a certain weight, that is your goal and that is your focus, absolutely fine, but you need to accept the consequences to that if you hold your weight at a certain point, then that might come with constant food noise, constant stress or anxiety or worry about food. It might still mean that you binge from time to time and you need to restrict yourself. And I'm not telling you what to do by any means. I'm just kind of laying it out, being honest with you guys, that if that is your main focus and you think that's what I need to hold this weight, then you need to be okay with the consequences of that, and that means suppressing your hunger in some way to stick to that weight. However, if your goal is truly to get to a place of freedom with food, you want to feel free, calm, healthy, happy, and you no longer want food to be controlling your life anymore. And that for me was my goal when I was going through this. I was like, I am done obsessing about food and having food literally live rent-free in my mind. I want to live normally and I want to just come away from the food obsession, in all honesty. I just wanted to get to a place where food just felt normal and free. And so with that, I made it my focus, my goal and my mission to heal that. And in healing that, we need to accept and get to a place of acceptance where we have to kind of let our weight fall where it falls. Be in acceptance of wherever our weight lands and not have the need to control it and micromanage it. This comes with another set of work altogether of learning to be okay with our body image and learning to understand and appreciate our body in ways that go beyond what we weigh on the scale, and learning to build our body image around other aspects of our life. So coming to a place of acceptance with our body, what our body looks like, and also an acceptance of who we are at an identity level beyond what we look like or beyond the number on the scale. And again, if you're new to my channel, or maybe you're not, but a lot of the work that I do with my clients is helping them heal their relationship with food. Also help them build healthy habits and sustainable habits that have them feel good with food, but also feel good in their bodies so that they feel fit and healthy and strong. You know, what can I do to enhance how I feel? I enjoy feeling fit, healthy and strong. So that is exactly what I help my clients do and help them achieve. I don't think that healing your relationship with food needs to mean that you don't like what you look like, because I truly think that, you know, that is an important part of being a human. We, you know, feel good in our body in some way or feel good in ourselves. I think that still is completely valid. So I don't necessarily agree with the idea of like just getting rid of the idea of just being acceptance and that's it. I think there are still ways that we can work on our health and our fitness that allows us to feel good in our body, whether that be lifting weights or, you know, choosing nutrition in a way that we know that makes us feel our best and energized. Before we address that point, we have to first heal our relationship with food. Otherwise, we can't get there. And again, this is a lot of the work that I do with my clients. I help break unwanted habits with food and heal their relationship with food so that then they can start creating a lifestyle that feels conducive and aligned with how they want to feel in their body. If you are on this journey, I want to be really open and honest about this because I've been there and I've helped clients through this. This isn't an easy process, but is it worth it? In my opinion, absolutely. And from the clients that I've worked with through this, they also agree, and they've also come from a place of being so focused on the scale and what they look like. I came through this journey myself, being so focused on needing to lose weight. My whole identity was around the need to control my weight. But once you work on your relationship with food, your relationship with yourself and your body image, and you start to go through this process, I honestly, from the work that I've done with numerous clients and also myself, veil feels like it's lifted and you start seeing life and feeling life very differently. You start realizing just how narrow and small controlling and restricting your food feels and makes life miserable. You realize that it was never worth it. You realize that actually worth goes way, way beyond how much you weigh. You interact with life in a whole different way. You see life for what it actually is. Life gets better. And I can honestly say that with complete conviction. I've lived it, my clients live it, and I wouldn't do the work that I do if I didn't believe in it. Yes, it's not easy because there does need to be a shedding of identity and releasing this need to control our weight. Healing your relationship with food is the goal, and that is what you want to do. Yes, it's not easy because there is a process involved, but is it worth it? Yes, absolutely. You get to that point and you realize that it was worth it the whole time, but also there also needs to be an understanding that your weight might go up and you might gain weight, and there's a high chance that you will gain weight throughout the process. Learning and trusting that your body knows where it's happiest, and having full trust and faith in your body and allowing your body to get to a point where it feels happy. Once you reach that level of acceptance, take your hands off the steering wheel, you realize that your body knows what it's doing and it has known what it needs to do your whole life, but you've just been trying to control it and micromanage it from your mind of what you think it should be doing and what you think you should be eating. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't work like that. It is so individual and your body is so unique. Your body is way, way more intelligent than what we give it credit for. So my final answer on this is you're still questioning whether or not you should keep going. If you're asking those questions, there's a high chance that you're not quite there yet. And you need to ask yourself honestly, what is your goal? is your goal to heal your relationship with food and heal from extreme hunger? If so, amazing. And I'm really excited for you because, like I said, it is so worth it. If the thought and the fear of weight gain is too much and you would rather control your weight, then you also need to be okay with accepting that that is going to come with a level of restriction, suppression, and all of those kind of things. And equally, if you're not quite sure, I do offer some free food habit assessments where we dive onto a call together and we chat through where you're currently at with your relationship with food and what that looks like right now, and help you gain an understanding of where you want to go. Maybe you're not quite sure right now and you're really feeling quite alone in this. If that is you, I definitely recommend booking a free call with me. Equally, if you want to know more about how you can work with me one-on-one, that's a process that I take my clients through in order for them to heal their relationship with food and with fitness and get to a point where they live a healthy, balanced lifestyle, combining both nutrition and fitness together in one. So if that sounds like you, definitely click the links below where you can find out how to work with me. I'm going to leave that there. If this video was helpful, please let me know in the comment section. Feel free to subscribe if you would like to see more of these kind of videos, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.